Hey YouTube, I didn't do any cutting yesterday. Yesterday was my annual go shopping day, so kind of sluggish today. I ate out at a couple places and I think I overdid it a little bit. But anyway, I want to take a good look at this log here. We're going to think this through. Now if you look at this, you can see that the log is resting on the bunk or very close to it all the way down, and this is a it's probably a 9-foot log. I'll measure it after a while. But that's not the point that we're after. The bad thing is this. Now if you look at that, you can see how crooked that thing is, you know, with that bow. This side here, I pulled the tape from one end to the other, and they got about 2 inches in the middle. So that sort of takes at least, if you think about it, 2 inches out of the cant size that we're supposed to get from this. Also, I've got something going on down here. I don't know how far in that goes. I'm going to try shoving a stick in there, I guess. Let's put the tape measure in that thing. Wow, that's in there about 8 inches. Measure this log. Okay, the whole log is 9 foot, so it's possible I'll get that 8-foot board out of that thing. Now at this end, and this is the stump end, we got 15 inches there. But at this end, we've got 13 inches one way. Yeah, 13 inches the other way. So we'll look at our handy dandy chart, because I don't try to remember this stuff. So 13 inches gives me a 9-inch cant. Now, a 9-inch cant, I'm thinking it's going to end up being a 9 by 7-inch cant just because of the way it's bent. So let me just keep that in my head for the moment. Alright, so the center point is 6.5 inches off the bottom of the log at that end. And this log is kind of weird. It's 9. Where the heck is the center? Yeah, it's about right there. So it's 9.5 inches roughly at this end, just the way the log is sitting at this point. So now you got to think to yourself, you know, how you're going to get the best amount of wood out of this thing. I don't mind having the bend to the side, but either way it's gonna affect, you know, the size of the cant. So what we'll do is, rather than trying to say this is what's going to happen or that's what's going to happen, why don't we just cut it and see what happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on letting it the way it sits. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that other end up a couple of inches. Let me get the camera set here. There we go. So I'll raise that other end up 3 inches, and then we'll start cutting and see how things look. Okay, so with the way that log's turned there, I do have the center of the tree level with the bunk. So we're going to start to cut this. I got to warm the saw up a little bit, and then we're going to see what all we get out of this thing. I got to look at my order for what today's supposed to be anyway. Okay, so this is a cold start on the Woodmizer, just so that you know what it's like. Let me just raise you up a little bit here. Not that it's any kind of a big deal or anything, but it's Oh, it's about 32 degrees out today. A little bit of a breeze. And I haven't started this thing before. The oil's good. That's about as far as my pre-flight check is going. There's a gas shut-off over here on the tank. Sometimes I shut it off, but I have it on right now. I'm just going to choke it very little to start it. I had the choke out. I had the choke out there about 1/4 of an inch, you know, when you're pulling it out of the holder that it's in. And it didn't take much before it wanted to be pushed back in. So the motor runs, you know, it really reacts good to the temperature and stuff, the way the Kohler has the motor put together. So I'm happy with that. Again, today I'm not using any coolant because I don't think I have to, and I'm not going to. You can see that the belt wasn't fastened, or I mean the blade, and I'm going to tighten that up now. Bullseye! So, I'm going to do a little bit of thinking here while that warms up. We also have a bow this direction, not just this way. Pull the tape tight, you can see it's off the log there about 1 inch. So we're not going to get the full 9-inch cant, I don't believe, so we're going to try. Yeah, it looks like most of this kick, or this bow, is happening down here. This is about the hardest part of the angle. So, it's pretty hard up there too. We're just going to let it go, see what happens with this thing. I got to pull my carriage over there. My thinking here is I just tightened the blade. I did not run the saw yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently get the saw to run a little, just so it tracks right, okay? I feel like if you run it, you know, a little stop and then run it again, it'll get into the place where it should be so that it's fitting in the roller guides good. One of the things I wanted to say also is a couple guys use lasers on the log, and what's nice about the laser is that, you know, it gives you a straight line and it makes it easier for your eye to figure out what's going on. Now when you see guys do like I'm doing, you move the head down and touch different spots. What we're doing is we're looking at the gauge that's on the back of the mill. And when you touch the low spot, you know that you can go an inch lower than that and still be underneath the bark. So in other words, right about there is where the blade is the highest above the log. So when I look at my gauge in the back, and this makes life easy. You don't have to remember any numbers except one. Right there, I'm looking at 14.5 inches. So I know if I go to 13.5, I'm going to have 1 inch there. Probably going to have a bigger spot here. Now because this tree is bowed, we don't want to take too much out at one time, you know, trying to get that cant right away, because you're liable to screw it up and not get the cant you're looking for at all. So I'm going to go to 13.5 inches. When I get to that point again, I should be pulling about 1 inch of wood out of that. Now 13.5 inches, you can see that blade's pretty far down on that log. What is that? Yeah, that's about 2.5 inches of wood there that I'll be pulling out. Now what I'm really checking though is I'm measuring the width of the log where the blade is up there, okay? And as long as that number is bigger than the cant size, I'm still okay. So in other words, when I cut that open face that I'll have will be 12 inches wide, okay? 9-inch cant is what we're after, but I'll still have 12 inches there, so I'm all right with that. So in other words, like I'm going to be down in here somewhere at that other end. Okay, but as long as I still have 9 inches to go with, I'm all right. It would be better if I could get it right at the 9 inches, like at that level there. But at that end, I'm going to be missing the bark here in the middle. So this is what happens when you have something that's bent like that. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring from the cut down to the 9-inch cant. Now you can see at that point I'll still have more than 9 inches for the width. The problem is up at this end. When I measure down 9 inches off of this cut up at that end, I don't have 9 inches this direction. I've only got about 4. So this is definitely not going to be no 9-inch cant. Again, It's the same saw blade. I didn't change it. I thought I would have to change it the other day, but I didn't. It's giving me a nice straight cut. So, I'm not wrong. When you're working by yourself here and there's nobody to help you, what I do is instead of throwing the log dog down, I leave it up like that so the log doesn't roll off the bed, because it's hard enough to work with. So I'm going to rotate this thing until this is on the dog. And what you're looking for here is to have the cut parallel with the dog face, because the dogs are on a 90 to the bunk. Now I'm not tightening that because I need to be able to pick the log up a little bit. If you look, I don't know if you can see it there, but if you look over on the side, you'll see my boards there started to pull out a little bit. I want to correct that. I don't want them to pull out. I want them to stay flat under the log. It may make the log fall off the board while I'm cutting it. Boy, this really got a bow in it. So I'm going to bring the saw up now and kiss off somewhere down here to see where I got it going. Now I have a reading in the middle there of 14, so I lowered it down an inch to 13. But you can see how the log is going up and down on both ends. There's no... So 13 inches should come through about right here. That's nice for this end, but that end, the cant is really getting majorly cut down. Now, 13 inches here gives me about 2 inches. Not a whole lot you can do with that. I might be able to take that end over there and lower it maybe an inch. It might help me to get closer to this, so I'll try that, see what happens. Alright, so that is going to help make the cant be a little bit bigger. The thing is, it didn't change, you know, it's not going to change the bow. I still have to go down to a 13-inch cut. But since that log is down an inch lower, that gives me an inch more wood to add to the cant at that end. This end, it probably actually came up a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that. So if you haven't guessed it, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to take the least amount of wood off, but still get the bark off, like in the center there, and try and get myself to a decent sized cant. At this point, I have no idea what the cant's going to look like because the log's got too many shapes to it. So I'm going to roll it now and then cut that again by kissing off and seeing where I am. At this point, I'm not going to use the blocks anymore because I got a flat face, so I'm just going to lower the log onto the flat face now. On this side. Okay, so I'm going to kiss off the back end, see what I got there. I'm not going to raise this up because I've already got a flat end there. Raising it's not going to really help me a whole lot. It's going to make the cut not parallel to the bottom, and I don't want that. So if I raise that end up, yes, I can get less, I can take less wood out of it to get the cut made. But if I do that, I don't have a parallel cut with the bottom, and then that's gonna, I don't have a cant, I have something shaped like a rhombus, so I don't want that. This is where the log really shows you how much of a taper it has to it. At that end I went in 1 inch, and down here I'm down 5 inches, so this is 4 inches bigger than what that end is, and there's nothing that you can do to get around that. But the good thing is I got a 9-inch cant this way. I still have that same 9 inches down there, so now it's starting to square up nicely. Alright, down at the other end, which is the smallest end of the log, and that's where you do your figuring, I have a 9-inch cant, so I'm down here. Now, when I cut that off, as close as I can, I'm going to have about this much wood coming off of here. Now, here's the thing. I have a 9-inch cant down there this direction, you know, this way, but I don't have it this way. I'm going to have to go down, I think, to about 7 inches. And remember, there was 2 inches of a bend in that thing? So I'm going to take the saw at the head and move it down to 7 inches and cut through there. I didn't say it. When I'm talking about these numbers, what I'm talking about is the distance off of the bump. So when I say I'm going to go down to 7 inches, that doesn't mean I'm dropping the head 7 inches. It means I'm going down to the number that's 7 inches off the bump. So once I make this cut, no matter what, it's a 9x7 cant at that point. Now I might be able to put this up on the saw after the fact, after I'm done with the cant. And I may be able to get a couple boards out of this yet. I'm not going to get full length, but I know I can get at least maybe one, maybe two 1x4s, maybe a 1x6. I'll check that out after the fact when I'm done. Also, when I throw the logs onto the table over there, I put the log that I'm going to put back on the saw closest to me and throw the other ones over further. I'm going to build a better system coming spring. I'm going to put a crane over here that I can lift stuff up, but until then I'm going to keep going the way I'm going. Alright, so anyway, now we're looking at that cant there. It's got a 9x7 cant roughly. So it's 9 inches wide, it's 7 inches high. The wood's not bad. I mean, the rest of the wood doesn't seem to have many imperfections at all. Although there's some bark on this one side that I'm going to have to get rid of, you know, to get to some decent logs. Again, the cut, nice and straight cut. I'm not worried about the saw blade at this point. I'm still going to continue going with the thick blade, and I'm going to cut this up. Now I gotta just stop the camera for a minute because I need to go find out what I actually need on my pile to fulfill this order. So let me go check that out. Okay, so what I'm in need of here is I need 2 1x6s and 3 1x8s to level out my pile. So I'm going to turn that cant, roll it this way because there's some bark on the opposite side. I'm going to cut that bark off, and then I'm going to get the 2x6s, and then I should be able to, I'll get one 2x6 out of it, and then I should be able to get some 2x8s. Or 1x8, sorry. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. This face over here is 9 inches. I'm going to take 1 inch off of this thing, okay, so that I can get 1x8s out of that. And then I'm going to roll it back, and I'm going to start cutting. I'll take 1 inch off of that, roll it back, and then I'll start taking 1x8s. Then once I get down to a certain point with the 1x8s, I'm going to start doing 1x6s. It all depends on what the wood looks like. If the wood looks like it, you know, needs to be turned more, because I got pretty much bark there, I'll have to see what's happening. But I know 1 inch will give me at least 2 or 3 1x8s yet there. far as a full-length 8-footer goes, that piece that I just threw off there isn't going to give me much of a board, maybe a 1x2 at the most. But now I'm going to turn this cant this direction and start getting from this clean side here, 1x8. Bullseye! Okay, that was a UPS disruption. I shouldn't say disruption, delivery. Okay, so now we turn the cant, and that's the 8-inch face. So I'm going to get some 1x8s off of that. I need 3. Alright YouTube, so that's 2 of them. Now you can see I'm not going to get a full inch out of that hole there right at this point. But I'm going to cut it 1 by out of it anyway, just to see how far in there that goes. I measured in 8 inches. We'll see what it does. You can see the dark spot on this board about to here, so I'm going to just get an 8-foot board out. just getting an 8-foot board out of that. You can see where the 8-foot is right here. It's still got a little black there. Actually, that's even a little rot. So I'm probably about 6 inches short with this board. But I'm certainly not going to throw it away. Just to give you an idea, I had gone in there 8 inches, so I was about that far. Now at this point, let me just take this one. At this point, I could turn this and get 1x4s out of that. The problem is I don't need 1x4s. I'm fully stocked with 1x4s. What I need is 1x8. So even though I'm going to probably have to take 2 cuts out of there, I might end up with 2 good boards. So we'll check it and see. Hitting the side of the stalker. It's not good to stop and start like that. Even cut, but it's crazy how these boards work out for you sometimes. Now this one here, like the other one, I don't get a fully foot out of it. The weird thing is, the one underneath it 8 foot back in here, and you can see the black spot's already gone up here. So that means that this one underneath that will be a good board. Now again, I'm not going to throw that away. At least it's a good 7-footer, and usually red oak like this, I said it before, they cut them up anyway. The nice thing about this particular log is that the entire base is beautiful on it. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. Now I should get, there's 3 inches there, so I'll get 3 nice boards that are 8 foot long out of that. Should, right? If there's no more complications. Well, you just heard that. So I kissed the dog. I forgot to lower it down. That's what happens when you do too much talking. I'm definitely going to have to change the blade now. But I don't know if I can still get this cut done. Let's try it. still gotta, sometimes you're just plain lucky, you know? I'm gonna show you where it hits the dog there. You see those scratches? That's what I just did when I was coming across there. What happened was, let me get on that side. Get over here, come on now. What happened here was, if you look at that, you can see that I didn't have a good edge to go on to. I had that bark on there. So I'm going to get one good board out of that yet, and then one iffy board. But I'm happy with that because I'm out of the rot at the 8-foot level. Okay? I'm about here. So we'll be good with this. Carry. What's Murphy's Law? Okay, so you can see both of those boards don't look bad. Now the cut there on that one looks a little thin at this end, and the other one looks thicker. The boards are actually pretty straight. Sometimes the boards will move when you're cutting, they'll warp at each end, especially if the end's not supported. I actually like having this end or the other end right on a bump if I can do it. I should have moved it up that way a little bit, it probably would have kept it nicer. But the boards are still good. I'll still be able to plane them down if I have to. And both of them are not good 1x8s anymore. They're going to take me probably to 1x6s. So what I'll do is I'll just stand them on edge and cut 2 1x6s. Because if you remember, I said I needed 3 1x8s, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 2 1x6s. So I'm going to set them on edge, cut 1x6 out of it, and I have my order filled then for what I need. So guys, it's lunchtime for me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. The mistake that you see me made there with the head of the saw hitting the carries and stuff over here, it's something that happens. Sometimes you're not watching that. I'm concerned more about the cut. But I have to say, and certainly I'm not blaming my viewers, but you know, if I didn't do the talking, I would be watching more about what I'm doing. And you know, don't take that as derogatory. I'm not talking about it's my own fault because I want to make the videos. I'm just saying, you know, normally I'd be watching more stuff. However, I've had mistakes when doing no talking at all. I cut one of my tools right in half one day, aluminum piece. So anyway, that's how you do it. That's what I do, and I end up with pretty good wood. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. As long as I got some life in this battery, I'll still go through this a little bit here. Now if you look at those boards, they look pretty bent on there. That's because I have them sort of tight in the middle. It's really hard to cut boards that are that narrow on edge on this saw. I got to come up with a better way of holding them. You could put the dog up, but then you only have a little bit of the dog, and all I want's a 1x6 out of this. So you'll see me grab a hold of the board then at the other end while I'm cutting to hold the log or the board up. Strips can be used for stickers. I'll dry them and use them for stickers. These boards here I'm going to just put on the pile. If you're wondering, let me just explain this a little bit. When I was working with this board, the original cut that I made was at 13.5 inches. So that had given me extra wood on the, other than a whole number on that cant. When I was cutting the cant down, even though it was close to 9 inches, it was still about 1/4 of an inch off. And that's why the one board at the bottom was thin. I could probably cut that down more. Let me measure that. Yeah, that's 1 1/4 inches there. I'm going to cut that bottom board one time, see if I can't get through that in a better way and cut some off of that. Now I moved the board up that way a little bit. The board's the crown of the board is up. So I'm going to push down on it when I tighten the dog and hopefully I can get 1/4 of an inch out of that. Now you know the blade is dull because I just hit the freaking dog with it. So we'll see what happens with this. recommend cleaning the board like that. It did take some off of it. Not what I would have liked, but I'll run that through the planer and I'll get a good 1x6 out of that. Although I have that wing down here, I should probably cut that down even further. Yeah, that's a 1x6 there. I'm going to dry it as a 1x6. I should cut it into a 1x4, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to let it go. Alright. Time for lunch.